All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
You tired?
Congratulations,
Thank you. I
Zach.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm just happy to be here today. I don't know what day it is or what time it is, but I'm happy to be here. So I'm very excited for today's meeting. We got some awesome stuff to go over with you guys. The focus is going to be all about listings. We're going to dive into a little bit of a market update to see how January shook out for 2018. We're going to go over some statistics that will make you guys deadly out in the field when it comes to communicating with sellers and getting listings. So come on in. That being said, what I want to do is take a look toward the end of the month of the calendar because Family Reunion starts very, very soon. And with that, we have worked with International to opt into an option that allows us to broadcast a lot of stuff or make a lot of stuff available to you guys. And I want to make sure you know what dates that's going to be available so that if you're not going in person, you can still witness it via it being broadcast. So if you look at the training calendar, I would make note that tomorrow is a relatively important day. Gentlemen, I'm speaking to you mostly. Make note of that. The 15th, there's a Mentor and Learn. It's a session that Mel's put together. It's going to be phenomenal. That'll take place here in the Market Center on this Thursday. Friday, we're going to start another training program that really builds upon what we go over in Ignite. It's not something I think we've run here recently. It's a program called 36-12-3, and the idea behind the program is to help you get into massive production within 12 months. So whether or not you're brand new, you've been doing this for years or whatever, we're looking to get folks that are interested in increasing production or doing more to participate in that training.
We did it, Zach, just so you know,
yeah.
long time ago. It's way overdue. So it's a great program.
Thank you for saying that, because I've been with Keller Williams since like in 2011 to 2012, and I've never really heard of or seen this program.
Yeah, it's great.
And when I looked into it, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds awesome. Yeah. Ignite on steroids. So,
yeah.
Is that Friday? You said Friday?
It starts on Friday the 16th. It goes from 9:30 to noon.
How many sessions?
Is it still white?
No, it's a few. I'll go over that.
Okay, $20.
Kelly, do you want to give a little synopsis?
Yeah, I think it's 36 transactions in 12 months with 3 hours of lead generation a day. So it really, I mean, if you're in Ignite right now, which is great, kind of gets you going, builds your database, kind of gets you to build your foundation. This class really kicks it into hammering how important the 3 hours of lead generation is and how fast, if you just can focus on that one thing, those 3 hours, how your business will just, I mean, you should have no problem getting your 36 transactions in the year.
And we've got it laid out so that Ignite's just finished today. We're going to start this on Friday to keep ratchet it up a notch. And then as 36-12-3 winds down, guess what starts? Boom, it's coming. So
I think I have all the manuals and stuff too for that if you want. I mean, I'm sure they're probably updated now, but just
no,
so
I'll pick your brain on that. So really, we've got this first quarter of 2018, we're hitting real hard because we know that it's going to be a phenomenal year for you guys. So that starts on Friday, and then our first live stream occurs on Saturday, the 17th. It's if you look on your training calendar over here, it's got all the sessions numbered, and it breaks down the time, date, and what the session is supposed to be about. And the one on the weekend at 7 o'clock, you can watch that from home, obviously, right? I'm not going to be here 7 p.m. Saturday, just so that's clear. Don't show up looking for me to broadcast this thing. But you can tap into it and watch it. And then on Sunday, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 more sessions that take place throughout that day. And then Monday, the 19th, there are a few sessions that we will be broadcasting live here in the training room on Monday. And those will be the ones that you really want to get to. They're the ones in purple. So create urgency with sellers, state of the company, and then filling your pipeline with lead generation. Highly recommend you come to those. And then sessions 9 and 10 are again sessions you can watch at your leisure from wherever. And if we haven't sent out the information on how to access these yet, we will be sending it out shortly. It'll come to you via email. And then, so 36-12-3 starts on Friday. And because of the live streamings that will occur on Monday, the second session won't be until next Wednesday. And then it's going to get into the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule after that. So I think that's all I'll say. Consult the schedule regarding those trainings. Our next team meeting is going to be the 27th at 11 o'clock. Other than that, are there any questions about the month of February for me?
How many weeks is that 36-12-3?
I want to say it runs into, it overlaps with March for 1 week.
With about 4 weeks.
I think I can distance to about 3.
I can name that in
Yeah.
2 weeks. We can hammer around.
Yeah, seriously. We can do it in a day. No, just kidding. All right, very good. I appreciate it. So, like I said before, what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to look at what's going on in the market for the month of January. I think it's important to see how the year has started to get an idea of what we can expect moving forward, and it's going to frame our conversation about focusing on listings today for the rest of the meeting, because listings are only becoming more and more what? Yeah, they are. They kind of are, right? So we need to be deadly if we're going out on listing appointments and converting the crap out of these things, because the competition is only going to get fierce if they continue to become a little bit scarce. That being said, we also happen to be in the time of year in which fewer properties just typically get listed. So don't freak out. There's still going to be plenty of listing opportunities this year, but the question is, how are we refining our skill set and making it so that when we go on these listing appointments, we can just absolutely crush it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so per usual, I'm going to go over CMAR statistics, then I'm going to go over Rochester specific statistics as well, all right? So you might want to jot a few of these key ones down, because afterward we're going to break up into groups and we're going to come up with talking points. I'm not going to make it, believe me, today I wanted to come in and we were going to do Office Olympics, but I was like, somebody might get hurt, so I better not do that, but it's still something I'm toying with. So.
Sumo wrestling.
You and me, after the meeting. So CMAR statistics, absorption rate for January of 2018 is 2.02. In 17, it was 2.19. So the percent change for the month of January, year over year, is our absorption rate is down just shy of 8%. This is CMAR wide. Median list price, January of 18, 209,450. January of 17, 172,900, for a percentage increase of a tad over 21%.
Wow. And is that just for the month of January, or is that?
Month of January, year over year. Yep. Median sale price, January 18, 175. January 17 was 164.9, for a percentage increase of just a tad over 6%. Days on market, if you look at the numbers, it's not much of a change. In January 18, median days on market was 44. At 17, it was 46. So really our takeaway is what?
It's a great time to be selling.
Yeah, things are still selling. They're selling even faster. If you look at January to January, selling even faster, and for what? For more. Not just a little bit more, but substantially more. Median sale price increased over 6%. Median list price, an increase of 21%, right? So obviously there's a little bit of a disconnect between sale price and list price, but that's a little bit to be expected, right? But what do you think most people are, after the last couple of years, when it comes to listing a property, the general consumer and even agents to an extent are thinking what? Let's test the market. Let's see how high we can push the envelope, right? Which is how you end up with a list price of an increase of 21%. But a sale price of an increase of a little over 6.
And multiple offers.
Absolutely.
That have driven it up.
Absolutely. That would drive up the sale. That would drive the sale price for sure. So CMAR overall sold listings in January. I'm just going to look at the totals. In 2018, 282 units sold. In 17, it was 290. So a slight decrease of about 3% when we look at month over month percentage change for the month of January. Let's look at pending listings. January of 18, 318 pending listings. January of 17, 315. Congratulations on a 1% increase in pending listings in CMAR. That's good news though, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at listings. Active listings, January of 18, 1,030. 1,030 active listings. In 2017, it was 1,141. So the percentage change year month over month, January 18 to January 17, is down roughly 10%. Down roughly 10%. It's also January, right? Which typically we have just fewer homes listed in January. But here's a year-to-date number regarding that, 18 to 17. The year-to-date is only down about 7%. So it's not the end of the world, and there's certainly time to make it up throughout the year, right? But if we're looking at January of this year versus January of last year, CMAR-wide, what is it indicating in terms of listings? Yeah, it's a little bit less. If we thought last year we had a little bit of a shortage, this year we're seeing even more so a shortage, right? Which is why we're going to talk about how we can become pretty dangerous at listings. So that's CMAR specific. Let's look at Rochester for the month of January. Absorption rate in January of 18, 1.39 versus 1.45 in January of 17. So a percentage decrease of just over 4% when it comes to the absorption rate. Median list price went from, 309.9 in January of 17 to 339.9 last month, for an increase of almost 10%. Median sale price, now this is interesting if we look at what happened CMAR-wide versus Rochester. Median sale price went from 189.9 in January of 17 to 222.5 in January of 18, or a percentage increase of just over 17%. So CMAR-wide, our list price percentage changed to over 21%, and our median sale price only went up 6%. It's the opposite when you look at Rochester. The median list price, instead of going up 21%, went up a little over 9%. And the median sale price went up over 17% in Rochester versus the 6% CMAR-wide. That's multiple offers in action right there. What does that mean? What kind of implications does it have for us in our day-to-day business and for our clients? That kind of a percentage increase.
If sellers are overwhelmed by how much they have to do to prep their house for sale, they don't have to stress out quite as much. It's priced appropriately.
I would say that's a phenomenal talking point right there.
Yeah.
Could you take what Karen just said and articulate that in a listing appointment to a client and have that be a phenomenal takeaway? I'm on a listing appointment. I'm meeting with Becca, and Becca says, Zach, here's the deal. We'd really like to get our home sold. There are a few projects I'd like to get around to before we get it on the market. I said, great. Becca, here's the deal. I've walked through your home. I'm telling you right now, in this market, based on how quickly things are selling, if we price it right, you won't even have to worry about those few projects. We can get on the market pretty quickly, and you'll get probably a couple offers on it. That's an immediate impact in your business in a conversation with the client using market statistics to help them understand you really don't have to. This isn't 2007, right, where we had to remodel the whole place, buy a home warranty, and prepay a year's worth of taxes just to get it sold, right? That's a great takeaway. Thank you. And for me, in a practicality standpoint, too, as an agent, I'm thinking, man, how many of you guys had in 2017, how many of you had an occasional appraisal issue on a transaction? Anybody? Okay. Do you think we're going to have some more of that? Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Median sale price percentage change, 17%. That's insane because in a balanced market, we like to see what typically?
Does it give you the stats for the upper range?
It does. Yep, it does. I'll get to that in just a minute.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But that helps us. We have to understand, also as a listing agent, when we're receiving offers, we need to be mindful of that too. When we're helping our clients look at the different offers and different options on the table, we have to keep in mind, okay, what potential appraisal implications do we have as well? At no change to median days on market, still 32. Sold listings. In 2018, January 2018, 106 listings sold. January 17, 107. So pretty in line with last year. Pending listings. In January of 2017, 143 listings pended in Rochester. This last January at 18, 131 pended. So not a huge decrease, but a decrease nonetheless. If you look at a percentage, decreased to just over 8% pending units. Active listings. Total active listings in January of 2017 was 285 in Rochester. January 2018 was 273, for a decrease of roughly 4.2%. Now here's some good news. Year to date, active listings in January 2018 are 411. In 2017, it was 404. So active listings year to date has gone up 1.7%. Probably because you had some listings that didn't close or sell in December of 17, came over and bled into January of 18 as well. But that's a good number to see. If we have listings, total active listings increasing just a tad, what could that potentially mean is going on in the minds of the consumer?
They're seeing the value of selling.
Absolutely. You might have a few more people thinking that, hey, now might be the time. Not only did it increase almost 2%, it increased almost 2% in what month? Typically, the month of the year that most people shy away from listing their home. Right? So that could be a good sign or a positive indication of what might be in store for us as we finish out the first quarter, enter the second quarter. This is the conversation and the message you need to be shouting from the rooftops, is that now has never been a better time to sell your home. Like, can you say that confidently? Can you look people in the face and without feeling weird about it, not being able to sleep at night, can you say, Leanne, it is now is the best time that we've seen in the last couple of years to sell a home? Why is it that you can say that?
Back it up with the numbers, so.
Yeah, because the median sale price increased almost 17% in January alone. That's the biggest difference, and that's an aha for me as well. Because as agents, oftentimes we can communicate, oh yeah, how's the market? The market's great, it's doing better than last year. Is that the same as saying, hey, the market is unbelievable? Homes are selling for 17% more this January than last January. Do you know of anybody who's looking to sell because I can get them top dollar and I'd love to help them? Who do you know? If you go on a listing appointment and I'm meeting with Jim, and Jim says, well, Zach, here's the deal. Yeah, we might sell this year, we might not sell this year. We haven't quite made up our mind. I can say, Jim, that's great. I can respect that. Here's what you should know about the market. Homes this January compared to a year ago sold for 17% more on average. So if you're thinking you want to sell, the market, not me, the market's telling you, now would probably be a good time. Sign here. Right? And how do we utilize this information in communication with clients or potential prospects to really, number one, educate them and strengthen them about what's going on, and number two, what does that also demonstrate about you as the agent? That's some expertise, right? You're dropping some knowledge.
Yeah.
That's fresh off the presses type knowledge. And most agents do not speak that way when they're communicating with clients or on listing appointments or talking with the public, right? If somebody interviews a couple of different agents, you're the only one that's rattling off these statistics and making it relevant to them in their decision making, I guarantee you're going to increase the likelihood of winning that listing versus that other agent. Or they might not even choose to interview another agent because you came in and knocked it out of the park.
And if I could just add, I think it's the fact of verbalizing and interpreting that for them, not just handing them the statistics and saying, look what the market's doing.
Right.
You need to follow it up with,
Absolutely.
this is what this means, and this is why it's important too.
And thanks for saying that, because oftentimes that's what we do. Or if you went to another office meeting, if they have them, if they talk market statistics, they might say, oh yeah, the market's up 17%. But what do we do differently here? Yeah, it's exactly what Kelly just said. What does that mean for you when you're meeting with clients? How do you use this information in your business? Right? It's not just, oh, that's interesting information to have in case I make it on Jeopardy next week. No, we want you to know how you can take it, implement it, and use it immediately with clients to add value to them and to your business. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know the last time, like the last year, we had an increase of that much?
17%? Roughly last year. Over, if you look at year to date.
Okay, what about?
So if you look at 16 and 17, we saw double-digit home appreciation. I can't off the top of my head speak that confidently about 15. I would wager to guess if we weren't at double digits, we were pretty darn close. But 16 and 17 has been gangbusters. 18, according to the numbers, we're already seeing inventory shrink even a little bit more. So that's going to indicate probably even sharper increase in values, unless we see a good balance start to occur into first quarter, into second quarter. which I think it will.
Construction is already going
Yeah.
pending, so.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen, it's gonna
Right.
level out.
Well, what else, if you were reading the news, like, okay, let's get a little bit bigger for 1 second, if that's okay, if you guys will allow me to. What happened in the stock market just last week?
It was
down.
Yeah, anybody check their stocks or mutual funds? Did you have many heart attacks?
I don't wanna know.
Right? Yeah, I don't want to. It's normal. It'll balance out. But the stock market, yeah, but the stock market didn't just go down. The stock market did what? It went down.
Plummeted.
Yeah. It had the biggest point decrease it has ever seen. But when you put it in context, when you look at the percentage,
We're still up.
it wasn't that far off of what would be maybe kind of a normal correction, right? And it has since what? It has since begun to
Balanced, yeah.
rebound, right? This happens, right? But the impact of one of the reasons we saw such a sharp decline in the stock market, especially on that one day, was why? What happened? Interest rates. Absolutely, John. Interest rates slightly went up. And what did that cause people to do?
Freak out.
It caused my wife to go into labor. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It caused people to panic a little bit and freak out a little bit, right? Because investors, when they look at interest rates, when consumers look at interest rates, as interest rates go up, what tends to kind of happen sometimes? Yeah, business might slow down a little bit. People are maybe a little bit less likely to buy because interest rates aren't as attractive.
And
Well,
when you
our,
think about 4.5% still.
Yeah.
Versus 6 or 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 18.
6 or
Never
8 is still a
If
great
you've
rate.
ever
I
seen them
know.
at 14, if I can
18,
remember, or
18.
18.
That's what we're seeing in the market and the economy as a whole. It's still very robust, minor correction. Interest rates went up a little bit, which could have impact on the housing market. But like Debbie and John and Megan just alluded to, it really has not been a significant increase when it comes to home buyers and purchasing properties. But let me ask you this though: if your interest rate goes up just a tad, that increases your monthly payment just a tad.
And not first
But the prices of homes are increasing 15 to 20%. What does that do to affordability? It's a 1-2 punch. So I guarantee you, nobody's income out there is going up by those kind of percentage increases year over year, right? So when we talk about home sellers and explaining to them there is no better time to sell, what is the same exact conversation we're having with home buyers? That's a buyer right now calling Debbie, let's make it happen.
Yeah, $5.
Yeah, there is no better time to buy. There is no better time to buy. Why?
Well, it would have been 2 years ago, but.
Well, but affordability is as low as it's gonna be.
Well, yeah, what's the old saying about planting a tree? The best time to plant,
now.
10 years ago, then the
the
second best
time
is today. Yeah.
right? And it's the same exact conversation. Or you think about buying a house? Awesome. Well, maybe this year, maybe next year. Well, here's what you should know. Something to take into consideration. In January of 2017, from January of 17 to January of 18, home prices on average have increased by 17%. So if you're thinking about buying now versus next year, it could likely save you a ton of money. And oh, by the way, interest rates are only likely to go up in the meantime. That's how you help educate and create a sense of urgency. See, some people see that as very salesy. Well, I see what you're doing there, Zach. You're scaring people. You're freaking them out. No, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm educating them about the market, what's going on, and I'm giving Lori in this example enough information to make the decision that's best for her. If I tell Lori what's going on, she can decide, yeah, I'll do it this year, or no, even despite the information you share with me, I'm going to choose to do it next year. The choice is ultimately hers. It's my job to make sure she's got the best information to make the best decision possible that she can for herself. It just so happens that information really helps me out right now because the market is going gangbusters. And I know if she buys today versus a year from now, you're likely going to save money and you're going to build probably a decent chunk of equity in the first year you own that property.
It's going to be interesting to hear what Gary has to say about the market right now and what he sees it doing. If he talks about shift again.
It will be
The
interesting.
state of the company,
Mhm.
vision, and so I'm sure it'll be
Yeah.
in there, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he's watching.
Okay, I'm gonna pass these out. I'm gonna create 4 groups. So I would like you 5 to be a group. I would like you 5 to be a group. I would like
And 4 to be a group.
I would like you 4 to be a group.
Right.
Here's this.
The ones that bought houses at 16%.
Okay, group kid. Here's this. Here's this.
Remember? Thank you.
My parents sold their house and we built it. On same site. Yeah. Not flex. My mom said we were at the very last one. I'm like, oh, house payments.
Okay.
No idea what we were.
So here's what I'd like you to do. So the first thing, the first sheet I just gave you, and you might want to write this on there, that is the market report January 17, January 18 comparison for all of CMAR. The next one I'm going to give you is the one for Rochester. All right. So your groups will each have a sheet that gives you the stats for CMAR wide and one for Rochester. What I'd like you to do is take the next 5 minutes or so looking at these statistics and this information. I want you to come up with great talking points or bullets that you think can be utilized in conversation with or on appointments with buyers and sellers. Looking at the market statistics, what are 3 to 5 takeaways we can come up with to utilize in conversation with clients? Go ahead.
What is exactly? What do you say? For buyers.
I had one. That's what you're talking about. For sellers. Most of them are.
No, and for sellers.
Even sellers. Even after you have your house. That's one of the creates a market.
So buyers, based on average.
They brought it all.
Well, and the rates that are still.
I said, you guys, these are our.
Which means. So
They
less than
time
that.
Yeah.
So
How many houses?
In 4 years, I would say we're around.
How do you calculate this?
Just because it's-
Buyer's market.
You don't know it. We have a problem.
Yeah, well, it's January.
No, but
Well understood.
I mean,
That's like, so I would, I mean, I remember when, seriously, they were talking about. Seriously, for 12 hours, the supply is so low.
Yeah, so I guess in 2010, you could always need to do a project.
So I definitely talk to people about this, you know, easy improvements to the buyers. But
Attorney is the buyer.
yeah, exactly. Anybody who's got any kind of standing orders, yeah, it wasn't about when we turn around.
Well, that lives somewhere.
But not even,
And that's where, right, that was true. You lost out.
most of the time.
So do you
But the buyers are.
Glad to hear it.
Well, no, I
Year-to-date
think
change 25%. Month by month,
Yeah.
it's 25%.
Overall though, it's down.
You're gonna make.
Overall, it's down. But in certain price ranges.
Then you may ever get the chance to make.
Well.
I like the sound of that takeaway.
Yeah, but
That's where we were.
I'm just gonna take a bath when I buy a new house.
You know, when that CMAR website breaks it down, it's buyer and cash.
You said.
Oh, by the way, you're not gonna
And
live
this is
forever.
all of that.
Better get out of the way.
Benefits.
Yeah.
Let's get this.
The higher end stuff is less, so you don't have to worry.
No, because it's all higher end stuff. I mean, 75% of our budget.
I can wait for all the other stuff.
In Rochester.
Yeah, like, you know what?
They are. It's absolutely.
Which ones?
There's no such thing as less than $100,000.
Like a $30,000 home in Rochester, you're like, sweet, yeah, let's see how hard it is.
But Albert Lee.
Which is why these numbers are things, something clear. If you're talking about like somebody who wants to move up, so let's say there's.
The other thing is, no kidding.
That's not a very good argument to yourself. Don't show Okay, so you have more equity and mill. But there's certain, I think races are bigger at really, so, yeah.
There's only a few instances.
I'm not buying it.
We understand that. And build in 6 points, just get the rates down. Like 12. They can buy it. 5 years, 6 years later.
I'm trying to time the market.
12 now.
And then during the buyers, then we have the people that come in.
Oh, yeah. And then you have to write notes in there that I have those back. They're always, yeah, they're already analyzed for some great ones.
Then they come in at 8. And then they come in at 5. You saw it all.
And then
They
when
keep
you went back,
refinancing
you guys
it
just
already.
said, but here's something else, what do you think? Well, you know, and it's like they want to compare. I think we're going to
They are not growers. That's not even an interest rate. I know, I don't know. And then when you turn around, I'd like
Yeah, better, 0.003% right now. And all of a sudden, all the relations of that family, and then now all the friends of that family. And then like, let's go on that 6%.
That's what
That's where they all in.
I think.
That's the last one.
We're in the business of putting shelter in people's Okay, let's regroup. I want to add, so keep those list of talking points handy. We're going to come back to them, but I'm going to give you 3 more statistics as it relates to our company, Keller Williams, and I want you to think about what talking points you can utilize these statistics for. Okay, so 177,600. What do you think that is the number of?
Median
Keep going.
price.
177,600.
agent.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that amazing that
Oh my
it's
gosh.
such a high number that you guys thought it was the price of homes? Yeah, 177,600 agents globally belong to the company. Belong to the company. Well, majority of them are in the United States.
So when a seller tells you they'd rather go with a large.
Hang on, Debbie, this is for your group discussion. This is for your group discussion. Let's look at the next percentage. NAR stands for the National Association of Realtors. So NAR saw a 7.2% increase in this. Keller Williams saw a 15% increase in this. What do you think it is?
Number of growth.
Transaction.
Closed sales volume. Keller Williams, more than double the closed sales volume than the entire National Association of Realtors. Third one, NAR saw an increase of 1.6%. Keller Williams saw an increase of 9.7%. What do you think that one is?
Number of listings.
Number of transactions.
number of transactions.
Can you write that beside there?
Yeah, we're gonna send these to you. I already done it to utilize, you
Great.
can utilize these at listing appointments, whatever you want to, and they'll be in color. I was trying to save money for projects.
John Kelly needs that.
I mean, I can't even do this off the top, that's like a three or four times, outperforming the National Associations of Realtors. 15% increase in volume, 9.7% increase in transactions, compared to what's going on in the industry. Outperforming it by far. So my next question is, how do you take these and turn them into talking points when you're visiting with buyers and sellers and potential clients and prospects? So take the next few minutes to look at these, and I'll write next to here what these were. Take the next few minutes to think about how you would translate this information into relevant talking points with potential clients.
One that I think is, since we do more marketing. And larger. So.
They said Keller who?
But
Why should we tell them?
I thought they only said that about Northstar Real Estate.
And so I was like, well, we just achieved number one, the third of the nature, and the reason is we care about it. What I say, we don't advertise. One of these obligations themselves are companies, you're that right, that money would be set into training it, like obligations to use that. And like, so taking that necessarily every turn around.
We don't. Slide.
Simply because.
And I'm trying to do
And I said, you have anywhere around. It doesn't.
Number one was sold, number one was sold, whatever, and then I'm like, whoa,
I
now
just say,
in my respect, yeah.
No, but I know.
But.
You know, it's
That's
that.
that's true. If they are a competitor, here's what I did.
I had, but just from a pure.
It just made me laugh. I've never seen anything sponsored, but just remember, it's not an agent, it's Remax Resulting. And it's everywhere.
We have to have a really strong Remax
Have to build to present in the country. Yeah. Okay.
For now.
In the country.
Then you're out.
But
Because I have knowledge, because I have knowledge of the short market, knowledge of
move on. We got data, to back it up. Sorry.
You know, you do things that others.
Oh, we got everything wrong, but like.
Well, he said it's in, he said he was doing it. Everybody.
Video.
I talked to him. I said, congratulations again on your franchise. And yellow and black.
Mostly, this market is all about.
I said, congratulations.
Because we do have one ability to reach. And that's usually that.
No.
Because we don't have.
First of all, you gotta set the ground. Against Barry, you gotta set the ground.
No, we do.
You step in your own bear crap. There's a problem.
He's terrible for it.
Yes.
Whatever.
If you're gonna catch them, you got the person to do it.
Because we use that a lot.
It's just
But now we have Cardinal.
Our network so well
And,
in the market.
They do about that trade.
And we're not all here at the same
I'd
time.
like to
Well, that's right.
Last time we were
It's not gonna be.
It doesn't just start writing down walls.
There we go.
Then it will get done.
Hey, thank you. We do have that. Oh, yeah,
Is that- I'm just curious, do you know that down there,
So for buyers, we have that. We're highly.
Junior, why do you have that?
So we have.
If you're gonna take it down,
What's going on?
Nope.
Under meteors.
There's a whole bunch of stats.
It sounds like you're on there. Did it?
We all need one. Karen Becker told us. I mean, it's not working out very well.
So yellow, black, and
I'll
red
show
lines.
you.
Okay, I see what happened. Majority white.
You know, and again, I think it's.
We're great at
I'm
it.
not quite sure. I know, but anyway,
Some of them don't know, no matter how the market is better, browbeat your buyers, the numbers will fall, volume, they can't make it work. So, you know.
only because they upgraded it so much.
Yeah, see where market prices.
Okay.
I think they took a little.
So, I want you to keep working these talking points, but I've got a couple of more stats to throw at you that I want you to keep looking at. And these come in the form of, so you're gonna get this form right here that's already done for you, and this portion of it is editable. So you can put your information on it, your contact information, and the statistics will already be done for you. You're also gonna get a copy of this, which is a PowerPoint slide. You can tweak it, but it's the work is done for you. You can put it right into your listing presentation. You can email this out. You can turn it into flyers or whatever you want. The back side of this one kind of already has one of the statistics that we've gone over, but I'm gonna go over the other two right now. The first one is this: year in 2017, 8.4%. Listings sold by Keller Williams grew by 8.4% more than the industry as a whole. Our listings sold by volume outpaced the industry by 7.7%. Oops. That's what I think about that. These other two will speak for themselves, so I'll let you look at them. It's just reinstating and solidifying the statistics that you guys can utilize. So I'll pass these out with you, brainstorm the talking points, and then how you can actually use materials like this effectively when it comes to clients or getting business. I've got a copy for each group, so I'll let you keep working away at that. And then we're going to take one more break and discuss just a couple more statistics. How's it going, by the way? We're coming up with some good stuff? All right.
So what do you think? Okay, sorry. So what are you thinking? I mean, obviously the numbers are here, but listings sold with more than 8% of the industry. What does that mean?
Well, that's why you
Over
change
the other
company.
companies? Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
What's that? That's why you change company, because they're number one. I didn't know that.
Well,
That's why
I
changed.
think it's the same, I say the same thing. If you look at our industry,
I think it's the same thing.
They said, why did you change?
Yeah.
I said, they have great trainers. It's like, it's because I changed. And I don't have to train anymore. Yeah.
that's like, can, I know it's off the top.
No. And the other one was
Can,
all the connections. All the Keller connections. They said, move the PowerPoint slides. I said, well, right after I move, so I can get a connection from Miguel and Evans.
As far as your numbers that you were quoting for the median, does it give you the different area, you know, the different categories of
I
homes?
said, yes. So that
On the chair.
Oh, I see.
This is the This is also, you can pull this flex.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm not that smart.
I didn't say that.
There
I did.
are webinars on it.
Whatever, you know, webinar forever. I can do one of those every day. And I've never-
Let's go into webinar inventory.
I don't.
Zach, do you know, do you have that many agents? Who's number two?
In terms of age, Zach?
Yeah. How many do they have?
White page, I went to
We have
agent, that's where I scroll in here, see how many they collect their college page or web page from.
Aging
That's
a big gap.
Exactly.
And we just,
So did you just go back here?
Agent.
Well, we had
Yeah.
people beat on Agent Council a long time ago.
Yeah.
We had people beat on,
I think it's really a very
volume more, and then it became.
powerful piece of it.
We have those graphs.
But as
And we just need to.
You
then
got
just
10,000
talk
people
about it.
say buyer, say
Very
buyer.
easy.
Should be selling.
You should have more.
I mean,
Should be.
No, they can't continue to do this.
But it doesn't, it doesn't.
Which is why we're gonna run.
Yeah,
they
they
love-
love-
Then there are other things that are.
Because actually, it's.
They just wanna know what the benefit
They
is.
just wanna
I gotta
talk
talk
to you
to you.
and help them get to
Where
where
the
they
benefits
are
are.
comfortable. Yeah.
You say, blah, blah, we're up to
We could have 500,000 agents.
Got one at
465,000.
right now, just calling it.
At least,
Well, no,
just that summary.
But there was, I don't see it here, but there's a statistic, Keller Williams
I think
agent.
he, I think the huge benefit in this market, I don't know, is that we are having.
Per list.
I mean, there really is.
That makes sense.
Number of
I read it somewhere, saw it somewhere. Where's the statistic that says Keller Williams in general gets their sellers more money?
And with the buyers that are
Wholesale
Ten
here.
days worth of reason.
That's what
My
it's
goodness, it's like all around.
a trading, or they're working.
I would say.
Yeah.
Show how much you do.
Where they come on the market.
How much.
That broker out of Lakes was involved in it.
I mean, you can ask
I
them,
can see a house today.
especially if you say you're up against.
You don't have
it.
negotiations.
They schedule
Our budget
it.
was done.
You don't answer.
Yeah.
You don't answer. You don't answer.
I think it's a good percentage on that.
All right. I've got one more set of statistics to share with you, and this is the set I'm most
Hey, you know
excited
that we're
about.
high eyes, we
Yeah.
don't like get into
I
all
just-
these
thank
numbers
you.
for God's sake.
I'm about done.
That's
I'm-
what-
I'm not like-
You're gonna take these to Bruce, and Bruce is gonna, I'm taking the rest of the day off.
Oh.
I need to analyze these. He's gonna love it. But these are cool, because here's, I haven't shared this, you guys broke a lot of records as an office in January, last month. You set records for Keller Williams Premier Realty. I'm not talking about Keller Williams, I'm talking about Keller Williams Premier. You guys are crushing it, and we need to keep riding that momentum and pushing it forward, because you guys are doing phenomenal. Keller Williams Premier Realty. CMAR MLS December of 2016 versus December of 2017. Listings taken. CMAR was down 10%. Our office was up 105%. For a percentage difference of 115%. Listings taken volume. CMAR went up 12%, you guys went up 23%. Which means you did 11% more. And you're scoring the wins where it counts. It's listings, right? So I'll pass this out for you guys to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you saying now about statistics?
I guess I was exhausted, but yeah.
You do one more. So, take a couple of minutes, look at that, digest it, ask yourselves how you can utilize it, then we'll reconvene.
You can use this like.
December 16th versus December 17th.
I have river property sales. We're at Vanderbilt, Minnesota, historic Vanderbilt. How about historic
Training,
Minnesota?
I'm gonna give information.
We got 100, 89, 88 acres.
We had this.
Everybody wants to develop
What's going on?
Talking about you.
It'd be nice to put a flag up and put these numbers.
I'm serious.
I got her information from my husband. I just, I worked that weekend, so I had to already there. I got it from you.
I'm really pushing this.
They said, not, I'd rather Instead of me, you know.
Well, we have such a different background in construction.
Right.
He's actually have January's numbers for this?
We don't, usually take us a little while.
Because if we got it, you guys all have to.
And that's why it's would be great if Blanche now sends out a monthly, like, report, if she could just.
Hang 'em out in front of the
building. But it'll be great to say, here's the numbers, here's why, now we were saying, this says you need to list.
Yeah.
This says you need to list the rest.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, so.
That's great.
I mean,
I'm doing those.
And I think we
Oh, by
have to
the
do
way,
right before we
So
can
we
get those
talked about how all this information.
Well, it takes time.
That's why they have.
What do you need?
Okay, everybody's looking to buy a
This is why I
place.
wanted to share that experience. I want to put this on Facebook.
Right.
Maybe at a better.
You don't want to.
That I think so that we can really be with the blurb that says.
I'd say so.
You know, I
Yeah.
have,
How to
How to create wins for our
Always
table.
last time was with Rogers.
And in this.
How to organize your
market.
emails. How to organize
Gig
your
work.
files, how to organize.
So we don't
Okay,
need
this
this
is great.
stuff.
I don't know what you're.
I don't know, that would be helpful for the agents. How to organize.
Discounters.
Oh, gosh.
Floor painter?
That is true.
But I feel like
That's a great.
so much is happening that it's hard to stay the course.
That's off.
It's so much. There's very.
I know one guy in particular who I had a conversation with, and said, I don't know. That's awesome. That's great. All right, so let's reconvene. We have just a few minutes left before we're at the closure of our meeting. So what I want to do now is I want to go around from group to group, and I want to hear some of the insights or some of the takeaways or some of the sound bites you were able to come up with that you can utilize now when you're out talking with buyers, sellers, or like I mentioned with this group back there, we've talked about how all this information is great, relevant information for clients and the general public. Who else is it phenomenal information for?
Other agents.
Co-op agents. Co-op agents. Are your companies seeing these kind of percentage increases? Are they performing in this manner? I'm not saying that you guys are terrible. What I am, but what I am telling you is the proof is in the numbers. We're seeing some phenomenal growth. If you are sense that you need this in your business, we need to have a conversation. If you want to experience a similar level of growth and productivity in your business, we're the place where it's at. I'm not just telling you that. It's based on the numbers that we're seeing. We teach people how to produce and be productive. Okay, so just share one, and we'll just keep going until we kind of exhaust however many we come up with. So let's start over here with Melissa's group.
One of the main ones was absorption rate, and knowing that as a when you're talking about putting a new development on the market, and how well you're going to kill your absorption rate if you put them all out there, and knowing how long is it going to take to sell these properties on average is important.
So be able to speak to how long it takes your property to sell. Okay, what about you guys?
One of the things we talked about was affordability.
Okay.
And so if you, as for a buyer,
Mhm.
if you wait longer, you're going to pay more.
Absolutely. Not just in the overall sale price, but in what else?
30-year.
Your monthly
interest rate.
payment, your monthly payment. Not only gonna pay 20, 30 grand more for the home, you're gonna be paying 100, 200 bucks a month more per month if you continue to wait, which is okay. If you need to wait, that's fine. As a professional, I need to educate you about that so that you can make the best decision for you. Is that the only one for now? If you have another one, just push pause, we'll come back to you.
Well, you can't, timing the market doesn't work.
Okay, there you go. What do you mean by that?
Well, usually if you're watching to make a decision, the market has already changed. And then you make a decision and it was the wrong time. So
Sure.
yes, you can look at these numbers and they're indicators, but now's the time to make the decision.
Yeah.
This was a month ago.
Yeah,
Right.
well, and I heard John say something interesting too when you guys were all talking. He said basically, and it's what you're saying too. These statistics tell us what's happening now, or you know what just happened. So it's our best indicator of what
What's going
The
forward?
immediate future. The immediate future. If we look beyond that, we don't know what the case will be. We have some guesses and some ideas, but what I can tell you right now is if you choose to sell your home, you're gonna do very well. I don't know if that's gonna be the case for you 6 to 12 months from now. But I do know right now you're probably gonna do pretty well. Right. Very good. How about you guys? Or ladies, I should say. How about you ladies?
We, I don't know, if you look at the active listings just in Rochester, between 0 and 100 to 119. If you've got a seller right now that has something in that market, there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, why do you think, so we've been looking at those lower price points and they've steadily been dwindling. Why do you think that is?
Because the price hasn't gone up.
Because those homes aren't even in that category anymore. Those homes are in the next, pretty soon it's just gonna be 0 across the board on those price points. Because
Well,
nothing's
even if
gonna be
you went-
selling for less than
Even if you go up to 159.9,
Mhm.
I mean, look at that. There's, I'm not doing math out loud, but there's not very many.
But look at that 300 to the 330 to the 399
Yeah,
one.
look where
That is
the
crazy.
I'll say
concentration
that
is.
I did a listing appointment yesterday and it was for a townhome in Rochester,
Mhm.
priced under 150. And when I said to her, there are 3 townhomes
Yeah.
in all of Rochester under 150,000,
She said,
her
"Let's-
jaw
let's not."
dropped.
She said,
And,
"Let's-
and I
let's
said,
not."
so when do you want to get it on? And she said immediately.
Well,
Where is
that's-
it? So,
that's a-
where is it?
That is a great example of using the market and the statistics to educate your buyer and create a sense of urgency, right? 'Cause that's a conversation about competition, right? And, you know, I think too, what Jennifer's diving into with that group has really looked at is not only are you looking at buyers, but then what segments or what niches of buyers are you looking at? Where's the opportunity? If somebody comes to me and says, right now, I'm a first-time home buyer, I want to buy something under 180 in Rochester, I'm going to say you and me both. Because if I find something under 180 in Rochester, I'm going to buy it before you do, right? You know, who are we focusing on, or what strategies are we using with them to help them succeed, or are we having the upfront conversation? Hey, that's great. If 180 is your max, what I need to let you know up front is we need to be considering places surrounding Rochester as well. Right? What about this group up here?
So they can build instant equity.
I think that's a great one.
We do too.
We rehearsed this ahead of time. But I would say that's usually something that doesn't necessarily get factored in often or falls by the wayside, because Melissa, you said oftentimes sellers right now, if looking to sell, find themselves in what conundrum?
On that place to buy.
They're gonna also, they have to live somewhere.
Yeah, that's great. I might get a premium on my current home, but that means I'm likely gonna have to pay a what for my next one? Premium. But then we talked about using that statistic to kind of help put that in context. Do you remember what conversation, whether or not you agree with it, but do you remember what I said?
That you're building equity, riding the wave with more money, so you'll grow faster.
Right.
Rather than.
Yeah, you might be buying, you know, as home values are going up, but right now the trajectory is increasing by double-digit amounts per year. So if you do sell at the top dollar and buy now, you'll likely continue to ride that wave of momentum and home appreciation, at least for the next year or two, versus continuing to wait and then, you know, buying when things have plateaued or potentially are beginning to decline.
And if they're downsizing, it actually works in the same way, right? So
Yes,
you're
absolutely.
21% of a $400,000 house, 21% that you pay more for $200,000
Right.
is still less, and
It's
you might
different.
still have the ride of some additional.
With the amount of equity that people have right now, I don't, it's almost having a holistic financial conversation, because you can cash that stuff out, downsize or upsize sometimes, and still have a lower payment because of the amount you're able to put down, which is unreal. Yeah, or clear out some additional debt that you have. I'm talking like some massive financial moves people can make to change their lives right now. It's all because they're sitting on the gold mine, which is the equity in their home that they don't even realize sometimes. Right? So I would be, if I'm out talking with people and they're thinking real estate, I would say right now I would be offering free home equity evaluations to everybody that wants to know. Hey, it's a no pressure, no obligation thing. If you're wanting to know how much equity you might have in your property, give me a call. I'm happy to come over and talk to you about that. Whether or not you choose to do business with me now or years down the road, see what kind of gold mine you're sitting on and what options that might be able to let you do. I think I've told the story before. Last year, we sold a home with somebody. They went to a comparable home, maybe a slightly upgrade. They cleared off all of their college debt. put enough down to where they lowered their monthly payment in addition to that as well. I mean, it's unreal because they bought it at the right time. It had a lot of equity. And people that have been buying homes over the last few years, they've been riding that wave of home appreciation, which has impacted their equity position. So the takeaway is, because we're over time, how do we use these statistics and this market information to make ourselves that much more effective in conversations with clients, potential clients, and on appointments? Are we really leveraging these statistics and these numbers to the maximum effect that we can to help us win the business, to help us gain credibility, to help demonstrate our expertise, right? So, thanks, guys. Yes?
I just want to let everybody know that we're listing our house next week.
Woohoo!
And it's a split level, it's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. We've really updated it. We bought it last June. And it's gonna list for $255. So if anybody has any interest, maybe a couple pictures.
Sounds like
Can I
a
list
price
it for
point.
No.
Great question.
Zach, I got one thing I would like to say.
Yes, sir.
I hope if anybody's using the phrase seller's market or buyer's market, please eliminate those from your vocabulary as a professional realtor.
Yeah.
And the spring market is not when the grass is green, it's while the grass is still white.
We're already in the spring market.
Is that not true?
It is.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that?
The markets right now.
Yeah.
And when I hear people say, I've heard it's a seller's market, those sellers are going to be buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I hear it. I mean, clients say, I've heard it's a seller's market. I heard it's a buyer's market. You're scaring everybody. You only want to use those phrases or the news media because it gets you tuned into what they're advertising or, you know, to listen to it. But as professionals, there's no sellers or buyer's market. The market is what it is.
I would say it's a healthy
Yeah,
market.
exactly.
Very, very healthy. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. ALC members, the ALC meetings will be here at around 12:15.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you.
The first couple of steps getting out the one.
I get tired, I know.